What's up guys, it's Collin Coates from Built2Wander. Behind me is a Jeep LJ that we've been working on for the last few months. My build partner Matt Thompson from 3D Off-Road. We're building a special Jeep for my dad. He's on his way up to Hell's Revenge right now where we staged the vehicle. He has no idea what we've done to it, and we're super excited to reveal the build, show him what we've been working so hard on, and then spend the next 5 days putting it to use out here in Moab, Utah for the Easter Jeep Safari. So we've got a bunch of family, friends out here, industry partners, and I don't think it could get any better than this. So without further ado, we're gonna get this show on the road and have some fun. So we've been working on a project for my dad. Back in October, he came out to St. Hollow with us for Trail Hero. Had never really been wheeling with us before. I put him in the front seat of Triton, let him wheel for a couple days. I had to steal the keys back from him. And at the end of the weekend, he's like, all right, we need to build my Jeep. So he's had a 2006 LJ Rubicon, bone stock. It's been sitting in the garage for 2 years. And so it was time to make it trail worthy and Built2Wander. So just want to thank everybody that's helped out. You guys all know who you are. We couldn't do it without you. And I'm ready to show you this thing and enjoy the next 5 days of wheeling that we have ahead of us. So, all right. Those 400 thread count?
Oh, wow. Oh my God. Wow.
Silver bullet, LJ.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, wow. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Thank you to everybody. I can't wait to experience this. Wow, this is so much different and better than I could have imagined. I cannot wait to have someone else drive this because I'm afraid to hurt it. Wow, thank you. I love it. I more than love it.
All right, so the Silver Bullet LJ has been a surprise we've been working on for the last couple of months. We finally got to show this thing off to my dad, and I know I kind of talked to you guys through what we were doing to this thing about a month ago while it was in the shop, but now that it's all put together, I want to quickly run through the finished build, and that way you guys can see how everything came together and how it all works together as well. So the fundamentals of this build are the axles. We went with Curry Enterprises. We're running their high pinion 44 front axle and their low pinion fabbed 9-inch rear axle. Both of them are spec'd to be JK width with JK outers, so all of the internal components were sourced from the JK. Of course, we put all new components in these, but the nice thing is if something were to fail, it'll be really easy to find replacement parts. Inside the axles, we're running carbon off-road chromoly axle shafts and 513 gears. We're also running ARB air lockers front and rear. We had to make sure the axles that we're running on this thing would hold up to the tires. We really built this Jeep around the 37-inch Nitto tire trail grappler. It's one of our favorite tires out there. We run the trail grappler both on the Blaze JT and the Triton JL. We felt the 37-inch tire would be a great tire for my dad in terms of size. It makes this thing plenty capable and just looks really proportionate on this build. We wrapped the Nittos around a set of KMC tank bead locks. This is a brand new wheel from KMC Wheels. We had our friends at Mod Finish do some custom powder coat. It's a granite gray face to match the armor on the build, aluminum rock rings, and then a red barrel. So when this thing gets flexed out, you can kind of see the contrast between the red and the gray. Love the way they came out. Those guys at Mod Finishes are extremely talented. And we also added a set of Apex Designs rapid precision valves within our KMC beadlock wheels. They allow us to air down from 35 PSI all the way to 10 PSI in under 15 seconds. It's a huge time saver on the trail, and the best part is you can add a tire gauge as you're airing down and see actively where your tire pressure is. Moving on from the axles, we're running Savvy's mid-arm suspension kit. It's a triangulated 4-link rear with a 3-link in the front. We leaned on Rock Jock 4x4 for aluminum control arms with their Johnny joints. We're also running their anti-rock sway bars front and rear to keep this thing nice and stable both on-road and off. So Matt Thompson did one-off coilover bracketry for this thing, both upper and lower shock mounts. We're running 12-inch Bilstein coilovers with their air bumps on all 4 corners, and Matt had everything set up to sit really low, but it's got plenty of travel before it even hits those bump stops. Just makes it really comfortable both on the street and in the rocks. Up front, we're running PSC's hydraulic steering assist kit with their big bore box, their ram assist, and we added a Genrite twisted pitman arm to keep that drag link nice and happy. Speaking of drag link, we're running drag link and tie rod from RPM steering with rare parts ends. The rare parts ends have serviceable cartridges. You can remove them, replace them, but we've never had an issue with ours on the Triton JL, and we put that thing through hell and back. Matt Thompson actually fabbed up his own track bar, but we used Johnny joints from Rock Jock 4x4. So we added a set of Adams drive shafts. We're running a 1350 series rear drive shaft with their 1310 series front drive shaft. Apart from that, the rest of the drivetrain in this thing is stock. We're running the stock 4-liter inline 6 motor, the stock 4-to-1 transfer case. We did add an AEM cold air intake to the motor, as well as a MagnaFlow catback exhaust. We modified the MagnaFlow exhaust a little bit to keep it nice and high and tight, keep it away from the rocks as much as possible. In the front and the rear, we're running Savvy off-road aluminum bumpers. We're also running Savvy's gas tank skid. They just remade it, and it's a super clean touch. Adds a lot of protection to that gas tank and looks really clean underneath this Jeep. But the rest of the armor is from our friends over at Genrite. So we're running their standard height aluminum flat fenders in the front, aluminum rear fenders, and their aluminum rear corner guards. The rock rails are the mini boat side rockers for the LJ. They have so much high clearance to them, but they're made out of steel. So we knew, a lot of times we're gonna be pivoting on those. We felt steel would hold up a little better to aluminum, but everything else we're running is aluminum to keep this Jeep as light as possible. Inside the Jeep, we've got a Genrite full roll cage. We also added an S-Pod Bantam with their HD controller. We've got our Baja Designs lighting setup wired to that, our ARB air compressor, front and rear lockers. We also have our rugged radios set up to it as well. So we set my dad up with a rugged digital radio and an intercom unit. He's got the Alpha Base headsets. So it's really nice. He can have in-vehicle communication, but also vehicle-to-vehicle communication. So we wanted him to be able to chat with us while he's on the trail, especially as he gets the hang of things. It's really easy for us to hop into his headset and spot him by using a handheld rugged radio. We can talk to him while he's in the vehicle and get him up and over some of the tougher obstacles. Also inside, we've got a iPad loaded up with Onyx Off-Road. My dad's been using that all week out here to navigate his way through these trails. He's never been on the trails out here in Moab, so it's been really helpful for him to follow that. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of it, and it's a great way for him to plan his trip. So we've been keying him up on Onyx, and I think he's enjoyed using it so far as well. So we leaned on our friends over at Baja Designs for the lighting setup on this thing. We're running an S8 light bar in the front with their S1 amber lights for fogs. We've got one S1 on each corner of the front bumper. Honestly, those things have so much light output. For being a small light, I'm really impressed with how well they do. We're also running some Baja Designs rock lights, and in the rear, we put some holes into our Savvy aluminum bumper so that we can fit up the S2 flush mount reverse light. We're also running Savvy LED taillights. Those are a nice touch. They look factory, but they're a lot slimmer and they're LED. So we've got this thing pretty well rounded with a nice basic lighting setup. We also have a Warn Xeon 10S Platinum winch with some Factor 55 recovery goodies. We're running their Haas Fairlead in Ultra Hook. We also got my dad dialed in with a Factor 55 recovery kit. Same one that I run in the Triton JL, but wanted him to have all the necessary tools and equipment with him. That way, if he's on the trail, needs to perform a recovery for himself or somebody else, he'll have the tools to do that. On the roll cage, Matt Thompson added a bar on each side for us to mount our power tanks to. We're running the power tank 10-pound rotation system. So we've got dual 10-pound tanks, but one regulator. So power tank has a really nice tool, allows you to swap that regulator over from one tank to the other. We thought it'd be great for my dad to have some redundancy. There's nothing worse than having 3 tires out of 4 filled up and running out of compressed air. So he won't have that issue with 2 tanks. We even did some custom powder coat on our power tanks to fit the theme of the build, and really stoked how those came out. It's probably one of my favorite tools to have on any of our builds, so we knew we couldn't do this Jeep without it. The other piece in the rear is this American Adventure Lab spare tire delete kit. American Adventure Lab killed it with this. They actually designed this for us, and I believe this piece is coming to market for them. It's probably the cleanest looking spare tire delete I've ever seen on a TJ or LJ tailgate. We love how it came out. They even threw our logo in there for us, which we're really excited about. So definitely appreciate their support on this build. We're really happy with that piece. It just adds a nice clean aesthetic to the rear end here. We also found a set of factory OEM half doors in silver. Couldn't be happier about that. The factory OEM half doors are super hard to find. They make for a great door out here while you're wheeling. Allows you to enjoy that open air experience. So that combined with the Best Top Super Top NX makes this thing a blast to drive out here in Moab on the trails when it's 70 degrees. So wanted him to enjoy that open air experience. So that Super Top from Best Top, the half doors, perfect combination for him to do just that. Lastly, on the rear axle, Matt Thompson at 3D Off-Road fabbed up a plate with my dad's initials in it right on top of the control arms. Kind of a cool touch. You wouldn't even see it until this thing's all flexed out, but we're really excited about how that came out. So just some of those little details. That's what we do at Built2Wander. We really pay attention to the details. We do our best to build clean, functional Jeeps. I think the Silver Bullet LJ emulates that to a T, and I'm just so happy with how it came out. I think it's probably one of the most beautiful Jeeps we've built, and it's working so well out here. So want to thank everybody for being involved, especially Matt Thompson at 3D Off-Road, who worked around the clock to put this thing together in time for Moab. And I'm just thrilled with how well it's working. All right, our second day of Moab. Yesterday was the big reveal of the Silver Bullet LJ. Today, we're at Poison Spider Mesa. Excited to put the Silver Bullet through its paces and show you guys how well it works on the rocks. Should be a good time. Nice and easy. There it is. All right, day 3 in Moab for Easter Jeep Safari. What are we doing today, Jess?
We are about to hit up Moab Rim with Best Top.
All right, Dad, what trail are we on today?
We're on Moab Rim.
How's the Silver Bullet LJ doing?
Silver Bullet's doing great. I gotta tell you, the start of this trail is ridiculously scary.
But you're getting the hang of it, right?
Yeah, because I'm getting coached and I'm like staying on your tracks within an inch.
Yeah, but the Jeep's doing good?
The Jeep's responding perfectly. It's
How's it been over the last couple days?
It's just so far exceeded my expectations. And I get to do it with family, which is the best thing of all.
Amen. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, day 4 here in Moab, Utah. We're fueling the Jeeps up now. We're about to go hit the trail. We're gonna run Metal Masher today. We spent the morning chilling out. We hit up the vendor show, met up with some of our industry partners, saw the new Ford Bronco stuff, had a blast this morning. So we're gonna go spend the afternoon on the trail, soak up another great day here in Moab for the Easter Jeep Safari.
Right there.
All right, last day in Moab, day 5 for us. We're gonna go finish Hell's Revenge. So we ran the first half with my dad when we surprised him with the LJ. We gotta go back, finish the trail. We basically just ran out of daylight. In fact, we finished most of the trail in the dark. So we're gonna go hit the second half of that today, have a blast out there, and enjoy this last day on the rocks in Moab. Guys, thanks for following along as we surprise my dad with the Silver Bullet LJ out here in Moab, Utah for the annual Easter Jeep Safari. We had a blast hitting the trails for the last 5 days, and we can't thank our sponsors enough for all their love and support in making this happen. Drop us a note below and let us know if you have any questions about the LJ or the trails that we hit. As always, hit the like button if you did and subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, wander on.